Welcome my fab fans to Glam's new video. I will be trying to get farther in my Medusa headpiece. Hopefully it works out and I can get really far. I only gave myself so long to do so before I have to set up my car, heat it up, and head out to a stores. Because shopping is so very important, you know? You gotta live your life. Gotta get food. When one family member struggles to get places, usually others take away and do it instead. In this case, I'm going to be helping my uncle because his bike that he usually takes broke down, but also we live in a winter environment. Why would anyone let him drive a bike to a store in the winter? That's freezing. I understand he wants his independence, but like, that's a bit far, you know? I mean, I was asked and told. I wouldn't have known that nobody was helping him if I was not told nobody was helping him. And I know my brother heard me say, oh my god. Oh god, why am I awake? And it was more of, why did nobody else think to help him first? Why did I have to be the final reason that he could get help? Why is nobody else helping him? Why is none of the adults taking a step and being like, hey, we'll be there for you? It's a little, like, disturbing to think about it. I'm the youngest. Am I really the only option he has that's willing to help him? It's kind of cruel, don't you think? That was my only thought. It was less of, I don't want to do this, and more of, why am I the only one who's willing to do this? But they won't take it like that, no. They never do because my tone is awful. And nobody can tell what I really mean. No, the amount of people that do not understand what I meant versus what is reality is just so funny. I don't have a very good sense of tone. I'm aware of this. I've been aware of this for years. I'm not very good at explaining myself, and I don't even bother. But I did immediately lay down after being like, well, I guess I'll have to go talk to him. But I have to go to Walmart anyway, so might as well carpool, you know? It gives me a reason to not procrastinate any longer when it comes to this. And I was like, I'll give you about like 2 hours, then we can head out. For me, I get an hour and 30 minutes because I have to clear off my car. But I gave him 2, so he could finish eating, relax a little bit, not stress too much. Because, you know, living is quite important. I should probably move my camera so that you can see more of what I'm doing. Yeah, because this is usually where I craft. I'm the in-between zone of my lap and my desk. There we go. Also, I'm trying a new recording technique. I can't do it while live because recording voice separately from camera is completely different. But since you don't see my face, I don't think it really matters what and when it is recorded or what on. I did press record at the same time in case I did want to line it up with my face. So, yeah. Let's hope this improves sound quality and videos. If you wonder what I'm recording my voice on, it's my tablet. Which is hilarious because my tablet is not on the same, like, it's an Apple product, so it's not compatible with any of my Android products. But I still use it so often. It has Procreate on it, so honestly, if you want to see like a digital art video, I could technically record one. I don't feel comfortable doing digital art. I've never practiced it. I'm not very good. So I'm probably just gonna stay with my physical art since that's what I'm comfortable with. But it is an option, technically. I have to practice it a bit more. Get better at brushes and understanding the device, its sensitivity levels, which honestly I wish it was a little bit more sensitive. But since I'm not using an Apple pen, I'm using just a regular, like, touchscreen pen. Mine looks like a feather quill. It's adorable. I found it at Five Below. I always underestimate how much wire these things take. But the reason it takes so much is because if I don't keep the wire close together, it won't make it so I can bend them properly. So, practicality is why I have to add so much wire. I want it to look good. I always have to put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I get way too many messages. My radiator went off. Oh, I was quiet for so long. No thoughts head empty, apparently.
crocheting while filming the voiceover. It is what I said during the video, but it's also a little afterwards.
With the style of the snakes, though, I was styling them kind of like how a person would style braids or dreads. Because one, beautiful hairstyles. Two, they're snakes. There's only so much I can do with them when it comes to style. I'm not a stylist, I'm a jewelry maker. So I hope it comes out great and cute.
I like how I can just dump in
And
another.
a wire. I'm probably gonna run out of some silver, so I'm probably gonna have to buy more. But it's okay. I can drive my uncle to a bunch of stores. Gives me an excuse to go shopping, you know? I wasn't planning on leaving my house at all. I'm just vibing with the lack of stuff that I actually wanted and needed.
Answer is I really wanted ice cream, and that's the only
But I also
reason.
am waiting till slightly later in the day because people suck.
I ended up getting ice cream, and so did my uncle. There are about 5 containers of ice cream in the fridge right now. Well, freezer. You get the before and after of what happened. Just to fill in space. Though I know if there's a voice overlap, it's gonna annoy some people, but I don't care. Me interrupting myself.
Another issue, though, is my uncle sometimes doesn't accept help unless we give him a reason. That he's not a burden. Which is really sad. Because he's not a burden. He's a person who needs help. There's a difference. I'm kind of upset that Dad's not doing the paperwork so that he can be in a place where they have accessibility and, like, I get it, paperwork's hard, but he needs more than what we can provide. And it's not like we'd have to pay for it. It'd get paid for by the state, since he's old enough and disabled. Watching someone struggle with a physical disability and not really doing much, even though you could, is kind of awful. I do work a lot, and I'm not home all the time, so I don't really see most of it. But every single time he's fallen, I immediately rushed out to help. And he just brushes it off like it's a burden. No. Go slower if you need to. Take your time. I mean, don't walk out of your room with no pants on. That is something that I find gross. But like, yeah, you can have the bathroom when you need it. Just let me grab my shit. Which is why I tried doing my makeup in my room, is so that he could have better access to the bathroom, since he can't really hold it the same way everyone else can. Like, I didn't want to get interrupted while filming. I might sound angry or disappointed. No, it's more of I wish I didn't have to finish. But I also don't want to procrastinate. And I want to go to bed soon. The grumpiness is because I'm tired, not because he's a burden. He's a person. He needs that. I remember there was a time where both bathrooms were full. But 2 people were showering at the same time. So I wouldn't have had access to the bathroom for a full hour. That shit's ridiculous. I just peed in the sink. But he can't do that. Mind you, I was a kid when this happened. And we had curtains, so shut the curtains. I still need more wire. No! I don't know why it takes me so long to wrap the snakes, but it's because I have to put the X's so close to each other, otherwise it won't maintain a shape as easily. It will also be harder to stitch them together. I mean, like, the tail is very flabby. So, by adding the wire, it means it's less flabby. And I can just form it into a spiral. So much easier. I mean, I have to tie these together, otherwise they're gonna fall apart. Because once it gets to this point, the snake gets stronger than the wire. I would use stronger wire, but no. Let's see how far I can get in an hour. The biggest issue usually is, though, that nobody else is doing anything to help. Like, you have the free time, you have the money, why are you not doing anything to help? But also making him ride a mobility scooter when it's snowing out instead of offering him rides during the winter is cruel. It's just cruel. It's cruel. In every way. Just cruel. Something I'm glad they're doing, though, is stopping people from letting kids have surgery when it's not necessary surgery. Because the fact that they'd let a kid have plastic surgery is kind of disgusting. Like, a child is a child. They should look like themselves. They should learn how to be comfortable in some extent with themselves. If you teach them to be disgusted with themselves or hate themselves, they're never gonna find peace with themselves. I remember when I was a kid, and my mom would make comments about my weight, I'd get very uncomfortable and disturbed every time. It brought on insecurities that a kid should not have. Because technically, most of the fat on your body when you're a kid is baby fat. I was like elementary school, being called chubby. It's like, look at her stomach. I was like, no, don't. That's gross. Stop commenting on my body. No wonder why kids think they're fat, even when they're skinny as hell. Or then they think they're too skinny. And that's an insecurity too. That brings on eating disorders. Let kids be kids. Don't put insecurities in their heads. Only compliments for children. Like, unless they're actually doing something horrid. I still don't understand the litter box thing. I don't think I'll ever understand the litter box thing. Because they're not wiping their asses, which is unsanitary. That's how you get disease. Because there's this one school apparently here where this one girl dresses up like a cat, only replies as meow, and uses the litter box, and scratches people. Everyone's letting it happen. She's not getting an education. She is not getting the attention she needs. That is a form of mental illness. Pretending that you are something that you are not. That is also gross because she doesn't wipe herself. Which means she can give those kids, like, diseases. Like, violent infections. That should be considered a biohazard. Unfortunately, it's not, because nobody's reporting her for being like this. I used to dress up kind of like a cat in high school. I used to, like, hiss at people occasionally. I was a weird kid. I get it. But I'd still use a toilet because it's disgusting to not wipe your ass. Like, what? That's the part that gets me every time, is, like, the litter box. That's the only part that's really just... Because she's also not washing her hands. I wouldn't even like using the bathroom in the school because of how disgusting it was to me. Then there were kids that were smoking in it, and I just did not want to be near them. Which is actually why they started having teachers outside of the bathrooms. But, like, you can have an ideology. You can dress like something. But don't make it gross or another person's problem. Don't become a problem. Don't make it a problem for other people. We're human. We're smart enough to understand that. We were created human. I've seen plenty of Therians that are adorable and really sweet, and they understand, yeah, I'm human, but, like, I still want to dress up as this and do this. And I fully get that. That's completely normal. You're still a person, and you treat yourself as one. Because you are. People. I love the masks that I see Therians wear, and it's adorable. I love that they're getting exercise by doing, like, the quadripletics or whatever it's called. I find it fascinating. But once it becomes, like, too far, it's too far. I would like people to be safe and clean. That's where my worries lie when it comes to this. It has nothing to do with identity. It is just safety. And when it stops being safe, it's gross. And this is coming from a person who used to dress up as a cat. Like, full-fledged. The only term that existed back then was furry. I didn't fully call myself a furry, so... yeah. The only reason I didn't call myself a furry, though, was because, well, I didn't think it fit, but also, like, I don't think fairying fits either. Because I wore cat ears to be, like, my favorite YouTuber. Which was Afno at the time. It still is. She's still my favorite YouTuber. I can't deny that she's my favorite, okay? I love Afno. She is the best. I love her creative writing. She's even inspired me to write so many times, and I will forever be a fan of Afno. Another issue, though, that I keep seeing is people pretending to have mental illnesses just to fit in with a group of people that they like, or to get popular online. That I find cruel, too, because people actually in the community get hurt so much when people pretend to have a mental illness. Every tattoo that I plan on getting will have something to do with a mental illness as a support. Like, I see you, and I will understand that you've been through stuff. I plan on being a therapist. That is my goal. I want to be a therapist. I want the best for people. I want them to love themselves and feel comfortable living as themselves. I use the term gender fluid when it comes to myself because I don't mind getting called whatever pronouns. It's not a big deal to me. I don't see why it is a big deal because cis people get misgendered all the time. Why would trans people care that much? Like, I get it, you want to be accepted as your identity, but, like, not everyone can see and assume. My best friend, who has the biggest tits, got mistaken for a man once. And she was like, I'm so offended. And I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. She's a cis woman, by the way. She was born as a woman. Straight up, everything about her. Yep. So I found that really funny. The amount of times I've been told male pronouns is usually with doctors. They look at me and think, that's a man. I was born with a vagina. So I find it funny every time it happens. I do have to correct them because it's on my medical files. Like, yes, you need to mark off female because that's what matters when it comes to doctors and stuff, because biological women and biological men have different medicines that work for them. Unfortunately, race, ethnicities, things like that really matter when it comes to medicine and how it reacts to your body. Unfortunately, it does. Even if we wanted it to be all equal when it came to medicine, it's not. There are some medicines that only work with women and only work with men for certain issues. Science is whack when it comes to that because it does not want us equal. But, like, we can be equal on, like, a mental level or physical level. But, like, when it comes to a medical level, nah. That shit is so diverse. The amount of, people of color that I see get, like, misdiagnosed is so wild. Because of the fact that they don't have, like, reference when it comes to other people. And I'm so glad they're, like, making more. I, like, read a article of a doctor who, like, made a whole study of how certain diseases look on other people of color. And I found that fascinating. Why have we not done this sooner? I don't know how old the article was. It could be from years ago, and I could have been, like, so behind on the loop of knowing about it. But it's fascinating how it would take so long. Like, you'd think we'd have that in our mindset of, oh yeah, that makes sense. We should do that, like, so soon. And then just not. Like, what? It's fascinating. It truly is. I love science. I love learning new things. And I love how we're making this world so much safer. One step at a time. Because it matters. It really does. The safety of people matter. Like, when I was reading articles and people being like, oh my god, they're, like, getting rid of, like, illegal aliens. And I'm like, they're not kicking out families, they're kicking out criminals. Those families still have opportunity to be a part of the U.S. They're kicking out criminals. The ones that, you know, the families were running from when trying to escape their country. Like, they're not kicking out families. They don't care that there's normal people. They care that there's people who are harming people. So hearing people be like, oh my god, they're kicking out regular people. Think of the children. They are thinking of the children. That's why they're kicking out, like, illegals that are hurting people. They're kicking out criminals. But I feel like that gets mistranslated every time. They really are just getting rid of criminals. It's a dangerous world we live in. Very dangerous. And the safety of everyone means kicking out criminals, you know? I don't want criminals in my home. I don't want criminals in my country. Nobody wants criminals in their country. I will iterate, I did not vote. I do not vote. Not because I don't have strong beliefs, but because usually when I take those tests about voting and stuff, it usually says my vote would be in the third party, and I'm like, I don't think so. But maybe it's because I'm all over the place when it comes to things. Like, I agree with some things in everybody's section. Maybe that's why. I'm a very agreeable person, usually. Like, I see valid points and everything, but I also think the government should stay out of personal affairs. Like, it's none of your business about certain things. Like, some things are just social problems. And those are supposed to be faced on, like, a social level, you know? By, like, people, like, person to person. Like, if you have a problem, seek professional help from a person who would know how to help you. One of the YouTubers I do listen to when it comes to political things, though, is Amala. And I remember for years, for like a full year, I'd see AI edited videos of her singing transphobic things when she's never said those things. Which was really disgusting of people to do to her. Because she was saying, like, valid things the entire time in her actual videos, but you could tell when it was AI generated or not actually her saying it when it came down to anything offensive. If she actually said something offensive and or incorrect or unfactual. Because she believes that trans people exist. So anyone who says that she does not believe that is wrong, because she does believe they exist. She said it multiple times in her actual videos that yes, she believes they are people and they exist and it happens. But she also says that, like, some people are a little loud or care a bit too much about things that are trivial. Like, it's a mistake. It happens. I know sometimes I get called, like, I know sometimes I get called a sir, and that's fine. The only time I really correct anyone about my pronouns or gender is if it's medical, because technically I'm not correcting them on my gender, I'm correcting them on my sex. Because gender and sex are two completely different things. And I've always used them as completely different terms and ideologies and things. Like, you can have your sex be male, but your gender be female. Gender is more like a mental thing, while sex is a physical, biological thing that we do not choose. We don't choose what we're born as. No. We choose what we feel like we are. That's the difference. Like my favorite person, Zawa. They, them, or he, him. Those are their pronouns. That's what they are. That's their gender. Not their sex, but their gender. Whenever I explain it to some, it makes me feel like I'm saying something transphobic and afraid of getting canceled. When I'm just telling the terminology and the meaning of words. I like the way certain things sound, and I like definitions. And I believe in using definitions to describe ourselves as people and understand ourselves as people. It really does take me about an hour per sneak, especially when I'm talking so much. But I'm trying to be entertaining, guys, you know? I want to be entertaining. I went on to, little propaganda. Y'all are probably gonna, I'm probably gonna lose some subscribers for it. Oh well. I believe in definitions to define who we are, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know everything. This is what I thought of definitions when it came down to things. This is what I've been taught when it came to definitions. I was always taught to follow the definition of the words. Purely definition. Trans people exist? Yes. Scientifically and emotionally? Yes. But biology has nothing to do with that. It doesn't matter what you're biologically born as. Only sex matters when it comes to that. Sex literally only refers to our chromosomes when it comes down to things. It does not refer to gender at all. That's why I was I'm kind of glad they're fixing passports so that people can't lie about their sex. Do you know the medical ramifications that could harm you with if you do not put the correct sex on your passport and or ID? Our sex matters when it comes down to medicine. Our gender matters when it comes down to our psychology. That's the difference. That's it. Something I plan to add is little gemstones in the center, or leaves. I might use leaves, honestly. Because I just think leaves would be so pretty. I'm going to paint the whole headpiece green though, so it does not matter. Literally the base of this is just so it fits on my head properly. I need the exact right amount of snakes for it to work. 10 more minutes and the video will be ended. I'm definitely not finishing this piece. Though I will say something about plastic surgery or any form of surgery that is not medically necessary. I don't believe anyone should get it until after they're 25. The amount of people I've seen be disappointed that they did not keep their features the same as when they were younger is most of them regret the surgery. And then a small percentage doesn't. It being such a small percentage should make anyone wary that they probably should not get a surgery that is not medically necessary for them and their bodies. Mentally, you can want it, but physically, if you do not need it, you probably shouldn't have it. As you'll probably age like milk. Because I can tell you for 100% certain, I hate my body some days. I completely and utterly bind my chest to nothingness. Sometimes my body is so dysphoric that I feel so incredibly uncomfortable in my skin. Does that mean I hate myself? And does that mean I hate myself always? No. Some days I'm perfectly comfortable being me. Some days I'm not. It just happens that some days are bad days, some days are good. Not everybody wants to wear a dress. Some people even get bullied into believing that their body is hideous or ugly or unworthy of love. But you are. And you deserve to know that you are worthy of love. No matter what you look like, no matter who you are, you're worthy of love. Another topic I'll go on is if you say no, the answer is no, and that is the only answer that should be accepted. People should not have to ask more than once for an answer. Your first answer should be good enough. And if they do not respect that, that is really sleazy. They should respect you the first time. They should understand that you said no the first time. End of discussion. Because otherwise, it's not considered consent. Oh my god, who knew? I did. I had to learn that multiple times. But you need to learn it now. If someone says no, the answer is fucking no. The fact that some people get baffled by this or think they can persuade you. I'm sorry, you are giving me rapist vibes. You should have listened the first time when I said no, because that was my only answer, and that will always be the only answer. Do not persist. Do not keep questioning. If I said no, the answer is no. And I'm gonna repeat this a few times because, oh my god, do people not know how to take the fucking word no as an answer? It is. It's a full answer. It's the end of a question. It can be a full conversation if it needs to be. If someone says no, the answer is no. But apparently some people can't wrap that idea around their head. And it takes them being lectured or yelled at to understand. And even then, sometimes some people do not understand, which is baffling. Why don't you understand that I said no the first time? It's uncomfortable. Like, the only answer that I see too much get, like, pushed aside or disrespected is no. People should be allowed to say no, you know? We should feel safe to say no and then have the person just move on with their life. And this stems from the fact that people used to ask me for nudes when I was in elementary school. Which is disgusting, you know? Like, who thinks that's okay? It's not. It never has been. Anyway, I finished adding one snake. I didn't fully add it, I still need to secure it to the base, but it's good enough for now. I'm definitely buying a few more when I go to Walmart, though. Okay, so peace, love, good night, my fab fans, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!